Yeah, I thought I'd try doing this RC question. The golden toad of Costa Rica. Okay. Whose beauty and rarity inspired an unusual degree of human interest from a public concern about amphibians. I was talking about the golden toad. May have been driven to extinction by human activity nevertheless. Whoops. I guess it's kind of like lions, I suppose. Our interest in lions is the beautiful creatures to watch, but they become hunted. So is that something that's happening to the toad? I'm looking for some kind of premise that says that humans are responsible. Not only that humans are responsible, but our interest is specifically interest from human beings specifically is what's driven them to extinction. I'm not looking for something that's just human activity oriented. I'm looking for something that's human interest oriented. Anyways, in the United States, a public PR campaign featured, okay, so this is just more of this is how humans probably messed it up. Featuring the toad raise money to purchase and protect the toad's habitat, establish, okay, blah, 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 all those actions. Although this action seemed to secure the toad's future, so humans did do something. It is apparent that setting aside habitat was not enough to save this wonderful creature. Okay, so we did do something, but it was not enough. But I don't think what I just read is a premise for the fact that our human interest specifically may have driven the human interest from humans. Interest from humans is what has driven the extinction. I mean, we did do something. It's not like we didn't do anything. We did try to get some. Now it's not enough, but still, hey, we tried to do something. So I don't think this sentence, if I was to annotate on this, can I? Yeah. I don't think this sentence is a premise for this. If I was to, I don't think this in blue is not, in my view, is not a premise for that. This in gray, in highlight, is not a premise for the box. Anyways, so the toad's demise. The toad's, so I'm just gonna, the toad's, how do I get rid of this? Anyway, so let's just get rid of it. The toad's demise in the 80s was a harbinger. Harbinger means a forecast of a further species extinction in Costa Rica. Okay, so I think that's changing. It's changing a little bit the topic, but anyway, since that time, another 20 or 50 have disappeared. Okay, so what? This unexplained, relatively sudden disappearance is not okay, it's happening others as well. Populations of toads, salamanders have declined, disappeared in the world forever. Scientists hypothesize that the more subtle effects of human activities on the world, such as the buildup of pollutants, the decrease in ozone, the changing weather patterns, are beginning to, okay, so humans are responsible. Perhaps amphibians whose skin make them sensitive to are the canary in the coal mine, giving us early notification of the deterioration of our environment. So amphibians allowed us to Perhaps amphibians makes them sensitive are the canon of our environment. Okay, so killing off the amphibians is probably telling us that, hey, we're going to mess up our environment. If amphibians are the harbingers of environment, humans would be wise to heed their warnings. Okay. So right now, we're not heeding any warning, I guess. Okay. Which of the following are true except humans are at least partially for the changing weather patterns? Yeah, isn't that what climate change is all about? The decrease in ozone, the changing weather due to global warming. Yeah, that has to be true. Toads, like frogs, have permeable skin. So a toad, isn't a toad a frog? And isn't amphibians? Yeah, so all amphibians have permeable skin. So that's a toad. Yeah, I think so. Toads, frogs, yeah. Yeah. Human not necessarily responsible for the global decline of. I think that is true. It's not necessarily responsible for the global decline. Maybe all they're talking about is Costa Rica and all that, yeah. So that's true as well. Costa Rica's CF preserve was not paid fully by the Costa Rican government. Was not paid for solely by the that is also true because we raise money. A PR campaign was raising money, so more frog and then salad. Okay, this is definitely false. We don't know. So I would select 1E for this. It can be inferred. Okay, that's not easy. Only 30 species. The total demise. So if you look at, since another 20 of this. So the golden toad was a harbinger. Another 20 of the, so that's 21. The golden toad plus 21, so that's 50 minus 21 is 29, so that's wrong. Humans do not have, yeah, that's true. Humans do not have permeable skin. Are we amphibians? I don't know, are we considered amphibian? I don't know. I don't think we do. Perhaps amphibians makes them. Yeah, I mean, the author is saying perhaps amphibians. So I mean, why would the author say that unless it says, humans should be able to feel our environmental changes. So why is the author then telling us to look at toads and salamanders and frogs? This is implying that we are not amphibians. Why else? Then why wouldn't the author just say, well, can't we feel it on our own skin, assuming we have permeable skin? Yeah, I think answer is B. I would select B2B and move on. Anyway, let's see. The buildup of pollutants in the atmosphere. Cause a decrease in, we don't know that. Humans do not usually take signals seriously. Usually. Do not usually. Actually, maybe even D is accurate, maybe. B or D. But I think B is D. Humans do not usually, maybe, do we ever take it seriously? I mean, if we, when have we ever taken it seriously? Nothing in the passage suggests that we have ever taken this seriously. Taken the warning seriously. Suffers from more than many other that we don't know. So it's, I think D is wrong because there's no proof that we've ever taken it seriously. The author uses the adjective subtle. The more subtle effects of human activities on the world. It's not a unique story. Populations of frogs have declined. Scientists hypothesize that the more subtle effects of human. That means it's the small effects. Like it's not easily identifiable. It can't be 3A. Can't be right. Testing equipment. Maybe it is. These effects are different. I think it's 3B. Yeah. The effect on these amphibians. No. No, I mean, the passage implies that this is tough. The passage implies many are not considered beautiful. That's no way. Oh, wait, maybe it is. With beauty and rarity inspired and unusual. Well, why are they interested in whose beauty and rarity inspired an unusual degree of human? Yeah, actually, many amphibians are not beautiful. Because why is there an unusual degree of human interest? It's because the beauty and rarity. I think it's 4A. The preserve was not large enough. Setting aside habitat was not enough to save this beautiful creature. Well, it's not because we didn't set up a habitat large enough, it's because we didn't do other things in addition to setting up a habitat. Only Costa amphibians. No, that's not true. Amphibians in Costa Rica all disappeared the world over. Amphibians sometimes live in coal mines. No, that can't be right. No humans yet consider the decline. I mean, maybe there is one human, but that's too strong. The primary purpose of the passage is to, I think, just to tell humans that, hey, these amphibians are an issue. Sorry, they're dying, and the reason they're dying is because their skin has permeable stuff on it, and they're getting the subtle effects of all your human activity, and thus either pay attention to it. Should you reverse it? I don't know. Discuss the mysterious disappearance now. It's me. Blame, undoubtedly to blame. Discuss, explain why. I don't know if it's explaining anything. I don't think it's saying, I mean, if anything, it's not explaining why. It's just telling us that it is. That they must minimize the global output. Describe the reason. But its causes. Oh, human. So A can't be right. Explain why human is undoubtedly to blame for that. No, it's not explaining why. Convince humans that they must minimize the global output of pollutants. Well, maybe convincing and describe the recent global decline and hypothesize about its causes. Maybe urge humans to pay careful attention to important environmental changes. I think it's 5E because it's talking about really the last line, which is, in my view, the most important thing. Describe the recent global decline. I mean, that it is this, and hypothesize about its causes. I mean, that is something that is described. That is very much across the entire thing. But is it the primary purpose? Primary purpose seems to be completely in the last line, and that is E. Convinced that they must minimize the global output of pollutants. Well, pollutants is only one issue: buildup of pollutants, the decrease in ozone, and the change due to global warming. Well, the buildup of pollutants is only one reason. There's other reasons as well. The decrease in ozone, how is that happening? So that 5Cs2 is certainly not correct. Between D and E, I would go with E because it's at the end of the day, if humans would be wise to heat the earth, I think that is the primary purpose. So I would go with E. I mean, this is describing, and it is true that it is described, it is here, but it's not talking about this last line. And for some reason, I'm going towards this last line. Show the described overall organization of the passage. That's tough. Okay. So it talks about first passage is about who has disappeared, I think, or introducing who has gone. The second is hypothesize why and say pay attention to it. Something like that. So this I'm saying is who has gone. Second is hypothesize why they've gone. And the last is what do we, giving some advice on the causes of the global phenomena. I don't think that's right because there's no cause here. So he is gone. Explains one. Explains one environmental consequence. The second discuss solution. There are no solutions discussed. So that's out. This was one instance. I don't think so. Details one instance of an ecological. Okay, the second. Explains one environmental consequence of human activity. There are no solutions discussed. One instance of an, maybe it's talking about the death. So discuss the important global extent of this change. I think maybe C probably is the best. The first discusses the effort to protect the habitat of a additional habitat. No way, it can't be D. The first describes the unexplained worldwide disappearance. This is too specific. It has to be C. So I'll just repeat, speculates on the causes. There are no speculations on the causes here. Maybe one specific example. No, the second paragraph is talking more about the first on the causes of a global phenomenon. Causes. I don't think any causes described here. Okay, maybe human interest. One example of this phenomenon. And there's not only one specific example. No, it's giving many examples. Talking about frogs, toads, salamanders have all declined. So that's why I'm not against A. That's why I'm against A. Explains one environmental consequence of a human activity. Okay, the second discusses solutions. No way. There's no solutions. Discusses efforts to protect the habitat. No, I mean, we build habitat, but how do we, other than that, advocates for additional habitat? No way. The first paragraph describes the unexplained worldwide disappearance are also disappearing. It seems too specific. The first paragraph details one instance of an ecological change. Import and global. I think so. I'm going with C. It's a bit more higher. This is too. I mean, that's not all it does. The second paragraph does more than that. The passage implies that I have not been noted. The area may be home to tour that have not been. No, I don't think it says that. The forest was not large enough. Not. I don't think it's saying large. Only. Okay, so the passage implies that maybe home to toad and froth that have not been. No, we don't know that. It was not large. We don't know that. It only says that um, it is now apparent that setting aside habitat was not enough to save this beautiful. So that we don't know that. Only Costa Rican amphibians have disappeared since the 1980s. If amphibians did not have them, they could not act as. I think yeah, that's what it implies. Yes. 7D. More than 1/3 of the world's amphibians. We don't know how much. So populations, so we don't know how much. So 70, 8. It can be inferred from the discussion of amphibians that so 8A is wrong mathematically because it's toad plus another third 20, so that's 21. Relatively few non-amphibious. I think that's true. 8B. Non-amphibious animals. In fact, maybe it's 0. Most have either become are in the danger of being extinct. Most of what? Oh, amphibians. Most have become extinct. We don't know that. That's wrong. Humans do not take signals seriously. Maybe D. The extinction of so many humans are responsible. Well, it's still a hypothesis. Yeah. So it's between B and D. I actually don't think we can say anything about non-amphibious animals. Do not take signals seriously. Humans do not usually take signals seriously. Yeah, I think so because heed their warning would be wise to heed their warning. That means they're not taking the signal seriously. 8D. You don't know anything about non-amphibious animals. Like B is wrong. I mean, the non-amphibious animals could have none of them could have permeable scale. This can't be right because it's only a hypothesis that human activity is causing it. If humans do not, I will go with 8D. Thank you.